Hey everybody, it's Delight from DenverWhimsyCrochet.com. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet around the edge of a piece of fabric. And so what we're working on here is actually a scarf pattern, and I have crocheted all the way around the sides and the bottom to give it a really nice, clean, straight look. So you can see here, I'm just going to have a little practice swatch, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. But you can see how the edges are kind of, what's the word here? Not, maybe ragged, a little ragged. And I don't really like how that looks for a scarf. So I decided to crochet all the way around the edges of this scarf. And I really like how it looks. It's a lot cleaner and smoother. So by the way, the pattern for this is available if you click the link down below this video. So this is what we will end up with instead of these kind of crazy raggedy edges. And these are created because you're doing a chain and you're turning between each row. So let's pretend that you are finishing up your last row here. And what I did here is I chained 11, and then I single crocheted in the second chain from the hook. So I actually have 10 stitches across every single one. And then I did 11 rows up. So that's not counting this base chain row that I did here. So it's actually 11 rows of single crochet. All right, so now I'm just finishing up my 11th row here. And to go around the edges, it's really fun once you get it, but it's a teensy bit tricky. So I'm going to rotate my piece 90 degrees. Okay, and now I'm actually going to go to, for my first stitch of going down the side, I'm going to go into that same stitch I just went in, but kind of from a different angle. So you're going to do 2 single crochets on the corner. Move this out of the way. Don't really need to be looking at my scarf in the background. All right, so now it's kind of, I played around with where I should be putting my hook in to the side here, because it doesn't quite look like the normal V stitches. Like when you're normally crocheting, it looks like this, and you have all these pretty V's and you know exactly where to put your hook and stitch. Here, it's a little bit messier and trickier, but I just go for the easiest option, which is this big hole right here, and this ends up looking really good. So you don't have to worry about trying to like go into this crazy little loop right here or something. Just like kind of go for the easiest little spot here. So I'm just going to go down, and it's kind of like there's a little bit more yarn that I'm kind of sandwiching in between than when I do a normal crochet stitch in the V's along the top side, but it ends up looking good, I promise. So, okay, the counting here is a little bit funky. I had to do this multiple times to make sure I got the counting right. So, all right, so I just did going down the side. So this was my last stitch I did of the 10 across, and now going down the side, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I first did this, I really thought that there should be 11 stitches going down this side because there are 11 rows, but there aren't. There are 10. And I'm not totally sure why, but it looks good. So trust me here, okay? It's going to be like one less stitch than you expect it to be. And that's just kind of how it turns out when you're going like this with your, you know, little snaking up with your rows. All right, so then you turn again, 90 degrees, go back into the same one for one more. And now another fun little trick. So that's my first one here. Fun little trick is to take this end. This was my very starting little tail, and sandwich it in here between. Now I'm going in. So these are my original chains that I made at the bottom. And I'm going to single crochet in each of those, and I'm going to sandwich my little end in here so I can save a little bit of time on sewing in the ends when I'm done with this, because who enjoys sewing in an end when you're crocheting? I think that's everybody's least favorite part, unless you just really love it for some reason. I mean, it's nice because you don't have to think about anything, but it's pretty tedious. So I'm sandwiching it in here. And so when you go across here, you're going to have 10 more single crochets across your bottom row here, going into all of those chains. And I will snip off this little end later to make it a little bit tighter and neater. Okay, so almost ready to turn one more time. So I've got my 10, and now I'm ready to turn. Am I ready? What am I doing here? Yes. I'm ready to turn 90 degrees, go into the same spot here, and continue. And this time, okay, 1, 2, I'm going to have 11 on this side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this kind of blows my mind because you have, this is going to look very square though. So I'm not totally sure how this turns out, that you have 10 stitches here, 10 stitches here, 11 stitches here, and 10 stitches here. But it is what it is. So trust me on that. Don't think I messed up the pattern if you're making the spring scarf, because that's how it goes. There's like one more stitch on this last side than you think there's going to be. So let me just show you the little trick that I think looks the neatest to end this whole shebang. So you've gotten to this corner. What I like to do is do a slip stitch in this first. This was the first stitch that I did in my 11th row, or my very last row. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch in there to kind of make it turn the corner and look like the rest of the stitches. Oh, and I don't have very much yarn left, so I'm ready to end this little guy. So just do a slip stitch in there, and now I'm ready to fasten off and tighten it up. And I can weave in my end here, and I'll have this nice little square, which I have no idea what I would do with this little square, but just for the sake of showing you how to do it, so you can see once this guy's tucked in, it's gonna look so good. So contrast that with how we started, where it was kind of all crazy and jaggedy along the edges. Now it's all smooth and nice and clean and ready for fun time. So that is how you crochet around the edges of your work, and I used it in this pattern for this scarf here. I'll show you, this is my long scarf. I need to zoom out, but I can't. My long spring scarf. And, or you could use this, I mean, you could make something like this to be a washcloth, or you could make a bunch of these and sew them together as a blanket. I don't know. There's a bunch of options for this, but this is the way to crochet around the edge of your work. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, and you can sign up for my email newsletters to get updates whenever I make a new pattern or a new crochet video. And I hope you have a great time playing around with this, and happy hooking. Bye.